Hello everyone, welcome back. If you want to see places where the rules of gravity seem to break, where nature sculpts with surreal precision, then you're in the right video. Let's start in the desert. The desert is one of the few places on Earth where nature still reigns untouched, raw, quiet, and wildly unpredictable. No skyscrapers, no city noise, just time, wind, sand, and stone. And it's here, in these wide-open, sun-scorched landscapes, that you'll find some of the strangest rock formations on the planet. Now this guy, he's got nothing to worry about. This rock has been standing in the desert for thousands of years, blasted by wind, buried in sand, worn down by time, and it's still solid as ever. Pretty amazing, right? From this angle, I'm starting to think this might be a giant's lost tooth. What do you think? This rock looks impossible, like it's been placed there on purpose, but it wasn't. Thousands of years of erosion carved away the softer layers at the base, while the top stayed strong, and now it stands like this, perfectly balanced. Looks like a giant mushroom, right? But it's not soft, and it definitely didn't grow. It was shaped by nothing but wind, sand, and time, balanced like this for centuries, with no help, and no reason it should still be standing. This rock is still standing, against all odds. Wind, sand, and time have tried to wear it down. They carved at its base, blasted its sides, and stripped everything around it. But it held on. Not because it's the biggest, but because it's the most stubborn. No doubt about it. This is a one-of-a-kind masterpiece carved by nature. Somehow, it's been perfectly balanced for thousands of years. Today, it stands like a giant umbrella in the blazing sun of the Ghazwan Valley, near Tabuk, Saudi Arabia. And yes, you could actually sit beneath it for shade. The desert wind and sand haven't moved it an inch yet. All they've done is smooth its surface, like polishing a giant stone table. It's been standing here for thousands of years, solid and unshaken, as if waiting for the giants to come back for dinner. Desert wind and sand have been trying to carve these rocks for centuries, and somehow, even with just the thinnest base left, they're still standing. Pretty incredible, right? Golden Rock, Kyaiktiyo Pagoda, Myanmar. A massive boulder, about 82 feet wide, balances perfectly on a cliff. Its contact with the base so small, it looks like a gentle breeze could knock it loose. And yet, it hasn't budged for over 2,500 years. The golden color isn't natural. It comes from real gold leaves that men have pressed onto the rock over time as a sign of deep reverence. And here's a surprising rule. Women are not allowed to touch the rock. One ancient belief says only a woman could push it down the mountain. So for centuries, the tradition has been to keep a respectful distance. Krishna's butterball, India's gravity-defying boulder. A giant granite boulder, roughly 20 feet tall and 16 feet wide, sits impossibly perched on a 45-degree slope. The whole thing weighs around 250 tons, yet it balances on just a sliver of rock, barely 4 feet of contact with the ground. Local rulers, including a Pallava king centuries ago, and even British Governor Arthur Lawley in 1908 tried to move it using 7 elephants. Nothing budged. Kumakivi, Finland's precarious Ice Age giant. Deep in Ruokolahti's serene woodland, a roughly 23-foot-long, 13-foot-tall boulder, estimated at up to 500 tons, stands perfectly balanced atop a smooth bedrock shelf. What's astonishing? Only about 5 square feet of its surface touches the bottom stone. Yet try as you might, you can't budge it with pure human strength. Here's the real marvel. This giant has been perched here for 11,000 to 12,000 years, left behind as massive glaciers retreated at the end of the last ice age. Idle Rock, England's precarious Sentinel. 15-foot-tall boulder, weighing about 200 tons, casually chilling on a rock base no wider than a car tire. It's the most ridiculous balancing act in all of England, and somehow it hasn't budged in over 18,000 years. Nazla, the the rock that got laser cut by nature. Out in the Saudi desert stands Al Nazla, a 30-foot wide sandstone boulder split dead center by a line so straight it looks like a lightsaber did the job. Even weirder? Each half is perfectly balanced on its own narrow base. No supports. Just vibes. So how did it happen? One theory says a natural crack, called a joint, formed in the sandstone long ago. Over time, tectonic pressure may have widened it, while wind, sand, and rain smoothed it out. Others think it was wind erosion alone, carving the split like nature's sandpaper. Some even point to frost wedging, moisture seeping in, freezing, expanding, and slowly prying the rock apart. But let's be real, that cut looks suspiciously perfect. Balanced rock, Colorado Springs roadside marvel. Just minutes from downtown Colorado Springs, balanced rock rises from the Garden of the Gods, one of America's most photographed natural wonders. This 35-foot red sandstone boulder, weighing 1.4 million pounds, sits precariously on a narrow pedestal, teetering, yet immovable. Formed over 300 million years ago, it was shaped by shifting rock layers and relentless erosion. Today, a bit of concrete has been discreetly added, not to hold it up, but to protect its vulnerable base from souvenir-snatching tourists. This isn't just a rock, it's a cultural icon. In the 1890s, a local family charged a quarter for photos. Visitors posed on burros or held mugs aloft in front of the rock. In 1932, the city of Colorado Springs purchased the site for $25,000 and reclaimed the formation for public access. Balancing rock, Canada's 30-foot stone popsicle. Standing nearly straight up, like nature planted it with a ruler, this narrow basalt column rises 30 feet tall, about the height of a 3-story building. Its width? Just 3 feet. Thinner than a dinner table, and yet it's been standing for centuries, perfectly vertical, right at the ocean's edge. It was once part of a cliff, carved from ancient lava flows. But over millions of years, wind, rain, and crashing waves erased everything around it, leaving this one slender pillar behind. Cheremba, balancing rocks, where Earth found its balance. They might look like just a pile of rocks, but these are the symbol of a nation. Just outside Harare, Zimbabwe, they stand as a natural wonder sculpted by time. Massive granite boulders, stacked with almost no contact, no glue, no tricks, just perfect balance. They've stood like this for millions of years, untouched, unshaken. So iconic, they appear on Zimbabwe's banknotes, a quiet symbol of strength, endurance, and balance in chaos. Bolten, Norway's suspended marvel. Now we head west, to the cliffs of Norway, where one of the world's boldest balancing acts quietly hangs in midair. Meet Bolten, a giant boulder wedged between two vertical rock faces with nothing but 3,200 feet of empty air below. No supports, no safety net, just a stone stuck in space. This surreal rock has been sitting here since the last ice age, likely dropped into place by melting glaciers over 50,000 years ago. It's also a base-jumping hotspot. Since the 90s, thrill seekers have flung themselves off these cliffs in wingsuits and parachutes, turning Chirag into one of the most famous jumping points in the world. Split Apple Rock, nature's cleanest cut. It looks like someone sliced a giant apple with a perfect knife. But this split boulder off New Zealand's South Island wasn't man-made. It's pure geology. Formed from ancient granite, cracked naturally along a fault line, then slowly pried apart by centuries of rain and freezing temperatures. It sits just offshore in Tasman Bay, perfectly split down the middle, and somehow still standing. Locals call it Tokungawa, the burst open rock. And when the tide's low, you can even walk right up to it and see nature's precision up close. Lajeado de Pai Mateus, Brazil's mystical stone labyrinth. From icy fjords, we now journey into Brazil's dry heartland, where nature and legend collide across a surreal granite stage carved over 370 acres of sertão terrain. Here lie over 100 rounded boulders, some weighing up to 45 tons, perched atop an inverted saucer of rock so smooth they seem ready to slide at the slightest touch. And yet, they don't. They've been holding their pose for millions of years. These boulders are the result of a rare process called spheroidal weathering. Buried underground long ago, the granite was exposed to moisture seeping through cracks, which gradually softened and rounded its edges from the outside in, like stone slowly melting under the pressure of time. Over eons, the earth above eroded away, revealing these smooth spherical forms, weathered yet whole. Among them stands the iconic Helmet Rock, a centerpiece in this silent landscape. Geologists say this type of terrain is incredibly rare. Globally, only a few places share similar features: in Namibia, in Australia, and here in the Brazilian Sertão. In a world that's constantly changing, these stones have held their pose for ages, weathered by time, untouched by reason, and somehow perfect. From sacred legends to impossible balances, they remind us that not everything needs to make sense to be breathtaking. Thanks for watching. And if you ever get the chance, stand in front of one of these in person. It's humbling, a little weird, and totally unforgettable. See you in the next journey through Earth's strangest wonders.